Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for June 27th. June 27th is the 178th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 179th in leap years, with 187 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is horse latitudes. Horse latitudes is a noun meaning either of the two belts around the latitudes 30 to 35 degrees north or south, marked by high pressure and light variable winds. Sound like a meteorologist. The source of this term is of uncertain origin. There's a story, not very convincing, that when stuck in such a region of calm with little wind to get them across, sailors would throw their cargo of horses overboard to save on rations and lighten the load. Another conjecture is that the term might be derived from a Spanish term, Golfo de las Yeguas, which literally means mare's gulf, perhaps alluding to the unpredictable nature of mares. The notion that makes the most sense to me, though, is the one that suggests that in calm waters, when sails had become ineffective, no wind blowing, if a ship's captain could find a current going in the direction he wished to go, he could ride that current, and it was said to be like riding a horse. The wind might not take you, but the current could, and like riding a horse in the horse latitudes. Wherever the term actually came from, first known use of the term horse latitudes is about 1777. Remember, if you have a word that you'd like me to explore in the Word of the Day section, pop it in the comments, and I'll talk about it. This is the birthday of Helen Keller, born June 27, 1880. Born a perfectly normal, healthy child, she contracted a disease at the age of about 19 months, most likely either scarlet fever or meningitis. This left her deaf and blind. Her parents' attempt to get help for Helen eventually led them to the introduction of Anne Sullivan, and the rest, as they say, is history. Helen Keller's life has been depicted with some fictional license in plays and movies. There are a couple of versions of the movie, The Miracle Worker, and also some actual video of Helen Keller herself. Helen Keller lived to the age of 87. On June 27, 1895, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad's Royal Blue Service made its inaugural run from Washington, D.C. to New York City. This was the first U.S. passenger train to use electric locomotives. This is the birthday of American actor and producer Bob Keeshan, better known to people of a certain age as Captain Kangaroo. He was born June 27, 1927, and I could tell you I sure watched me some Captain Kangaroo when I was a little girl. Oh, Mr. Moose and the ping pong balls. Bob Keeshan lived to the age of 76. The Filmore East in New York City was known as the Church of Rock and Roll, and after only 3 years in business, rock and roll promoter Bill Graham closed the Filmore East on June 27, 1971. Today's song is A World Without Love by Peter and Gordon. This song was written by Paul McCartney when he was 16 years old. 5 years later, in 1963, he was sharing a room with his girlfriend's brother, Peter Asher. Peter and his friend, Gordon Waller, had signed a recording contract as Peter and Gordon, and Peter asked Paul if they could record A World Without Love. Paul and John felt that the song wasn't a good fit for the Beatles, so why not? The song was never released by the Beatles, although Paul did do a demo recording of it somewhere along the way. Peter and Gordon's version was released in February of 1964, hit number 1 on June 27, 1964. Nice harmonies, those two. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.